In this video, we are diving deep into one of the greatest cult classic science fiction movies ever made, Blade Runner, 1982. This film was released in the year 1982, yet it was set in a futuristic Los Angeles of 2019. At the time, it felt like a vision of a faraway future. But now, we have already crossed that timeline, and looking back, it's fascinating to see what the creators imagined our world would look like. This movie became a milestone in science fiction. The director, Ridley Scott, gave us a future filled with flying cars, neon lights, enormous skyscrapers, and a society heavily reliant on advanced technology. The city feels alive with advertisements, smog, and artificial life. But behind this futuristic beauty lies a dark and thought-provoking story. At the heart of Blade Runner is the concept of artificial humans called replicants. These are bioengineered beings created by the Tyrell Corporation. They look exactly like humans, act like humans, but are stronger, faster, and in some cases even smarter. They were built to serve in off-world colonies, essentially used as slave labor in dangerous environments outside Earth. But there's a problem. Replicants eventually began to rebel against their human masters. Because of this, they were declared illegal on Earth. To deal with them, a special police unit was formed. Their job, to retire any replicant found on Earth. Notice here, they don't say kill or execute. They say retire. It sounds cleaner, but in reality it means the same thing. Hunt them down and end their lives. And this is where our main character enters the story. His name is Rick Deckard. He is a Blade Runner, a special officer trained to track down replicants and retire them. At the beginning of the movie, we learn about the case he is forced to take on. Several dangerous replicants have escaped to Earth. Deckard's mission is to find them and retire them before they cause chaos. But before we meet Deckard, the film opens with an intense scene. A man named Leon is undergoing a strange test. This is called the Voight-Kampff test, a psychological test designed to distinguish replicants from humans. It measures emotional responses by asking strange questions. The interviewer asks Leon questions about his mother, about emotions, and shows him unsettling scenarios to trigger reactions. But suddenly Leon snaps. He pulls out a gun and shoots the interviewer dead. This violent moment confirms what we feared. Leon is a replicant, and he is dangerous. From here, we cut to our main character. Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, is living a quiet life, no longer working as a Blade Runner. He has retired from his job because he hated the idea of killing beings that looked so human. But the police force doesn't give him much choice. His old boss, Bryant, corners him and explains the situation. 4 replicants are on the loose. They are extremely dangerous and must be retired. Deckard refuses at first, but eventually, he realizes he has no way out. He is forced back into the role he despises. The 4 replicants on the run are Leon, Roy Batty, Zora, and Pri. Roy is their leader, charismatic, intelligent, and dangerous. His only goal is to extend his life. Because here lies another secret. Replicants are designed with a built-in lifespan. They live only 4 years. After that, they die. And Roy doesn't want to die. He and the others have returned to Earth to find a way to extend their lifespans. Deckard begins his investigation. But before he can hunt down the fugitives, he is introduced to someone else, a woman named Rachel. Rachel is not just any ordinary woman. She is a special replicant created by the Tyrell Corporation. When Deckard tests her with the Voight-Kampff machine, something strange happens. The test is unable to determine if she is human or replicant. That's how advanced she is. Soon after, Deckard learns the truth. Rachel doesn't even know she is a replicant. She has been implanted with false memories of a childhood that never belonged to her. This was done to make her more stable and human-like. When Deckard tells her the truth, it shatters her. Imagine realizing that everything you remember, your parents, your childhood, your life, is all a lie. Meanwhile, the replicants continue their mission. Roy and Leon try to find a way to meet their creator, Dr. Eldon Tyrell, the head of the Tyrell Corporation. They want him to extend their lifespans, but getting to him isn't easy. They manipulate and use people to get closer. One of their allies becomes J.F. Sebastian, a genetic designer who works for Tyrell. Deckard continues his hunt. His first target is Zora, a replicant working as an exotic dancer. The scene is intense. Deckard chases her through the crowded streets of Los Angeles. Finally, he corners her and shoots her in the back. She crashes through glass windows, falling to her death. The crowd watches in shock, but for Deckard, it's just another retirement. Cold, brutal, and necessary. But things don't get easier. Soon after, Leon ambushes Deckard. Leon is strong, and he easily overpowers Deckard, beating him mercilessly. Just when it seems Deckard is about to die, Rachel shows up. She shoots Leon and saves Deckard's life. From this moment on, their relationship changes. Deckard begins to see Rachel as more than just a replicant. Yet, Rachel herself struggles. She now knows she is not human. She is terrified that Deckard will one day be ordered to retire her as well. Deckard assures her he won't. He only retires dangerous replicants, not ones like her. Slowly, they grow closer, and Rachel begins to trust him. Meanwhile, Roy and Pre make their move. They find Sebastian, who lives alone in an apartment building filled with strange, doll-like creations. Pre manipulates him into introducing her and Roy to Tyrell. Finally, Roy meets his creator. The meeting is emotional. Roy begs Tyrell to extend his life. "I want more life," he says. But Tyrell explains that it is impossible. The replicants' lifespans are locked into their genetic design. There is no way to extend them. Hearing this, Roy is devastated. In anger, he kills Tyrell, crushing the skull of the very man who created him. He also kills Sebastian. It's a brutal act of rage, but also one of despair. Roy knows his time is running out, and there is nothing he can do about it. In a distant vision of the future, Los Angeles stands under a constant shroud of rain and neon light. The year is 2019. The city stretches endlessly with massive skyscrapers, floating advertisements, and skies filled with hover vehicles. Humanity has reached new heights of technological advancement, but also new depths of moral ambiguity. Powerful corporations dominate society, and one among them, the Tyrell Corporation, has achieved the unthinkable: the creation of bioengineered humans known as replicants. Replicants look, move, and act exactly like real human beings. They are almost indistinguishable, but they are stronger, faster, and often smarter than humans. These beings are built for a purpose: to work off-world in colonies, performing dangerous, degrading, or laborious tasks that humans no longer wish to do. But there is a catch. Replicants are designed with a fixed lifespan of only 4 years, a built-in expiration date to prevent them from developing complex emotions or rebelling against their masters. Not long ago, a violent uprising occurred when a group of replicants turned against their human creators. After that bloody revolt, replicants were banned on Earth. Any that managed to escape and infiltrate the planet would be hunted down by a special police force known as Blade Runners. To the outside world, this is not called execution, it is called retirement. Replicants are not seen as people, but as machines, property to be eliminated when they disobey. The story begins in the offices of the Tyrell Corporation. A man sits across from an examiner who prepares to test him with a strange device. The device is the Voigtkampf machine, a tool designed to measure emotional responses through the dilation of the pupils and subtle bodily reactions. By asking personal and often disturbing questions, the examiner can determine whether the subject is a human being or a replicant in disguise. The man being tested is Leon Kowalski. He appears calm, but as the questions become more intense, his expression hardens. When asked about his mother, Leon loses control. He draws a gun and shoots the examiner dead before escaping into the neon-soaked city streets. This violent act confirms that Leon is not human. He is one of the escaped replicants hiding in Los Angeles. From here, the focus shifts to the main character of the story, Rick Deckard. Deckard is a former Blade Runner, a man once tasked with hunting down replicants. He is a weary, lonely figure, disillusioned with the life he has lived and no longer interested in carrying out such brutal work. But fate pulls him back into the world he tried to leave behind. While eating at a street vendor's stall, Deckard is approached by an officer named Gaff. Gaff is sharp, observant, and speaks in a mix of languages. He informs Deckard that his presence is required at the headquarters. Reluctantly, Deckard follows. At the station, Deckard meets his old superior, Captain Bryant. Bryant wastes no time in explaining the situation, for replicants have escaped to Earth. One of them was the man Deckard saw on the monitor, Leon Kowalski. The others are Zora, a combat model trained for assassination, Pre, a pleasure model skilled in seduction and manipulation, and Roy Batty, the leader of the group, a Nexus 6 model with both intelligence and brutality. Bryant tells Deckard bluntly that he has no choice in the matter. He is being reinstated as a Blade Runner. His assignment is to track down and retire all 4 replicants before they cause further chaos. Deckard hesitates. He hates this job, hates the idea of executing beings that look so much like people. but he knows he cannot refuse. To prepare, Deckard is taken to the Tyrell Corporation to test the Voight-Kampff machine on the new generation of replicants. The head of the corporation, Dr. Eldon Tyrell, is a wealthy and eccentric genius who takes pride in his creations. He insists that Deckard demonstrate the test on someone he chooses. Tyrell introduces his assistant, a young woman named Rachel. Deckard sits with Rachel, asking her a series of questions through the Voight-Kampff machine. But something unusual happens. The test, which normally reveals results within a few questions, takes much longer than expected. Deckard grows suspicious. Finally, he concludes that Rachel is not human, she is a replicant. But unlike the others, she is different. Tyrell explains that she is an experiment. Her memories are not her own, but implanted from another human being. These false memories are designed to give her emotional stability, to make her believe she is human, and therefore act in a more human way. Rachel, however, has no idea she is a replicant. The truth is hidden from her. When she overhears Deckard's conclusion, she is shaken, confused, and vulnerable. Her entire sense of identity has been built on a lie. Meanwhile, the escaped replicants move through the city, searching for a way to extend their lives. They know their time is running out, and they will soon die. Roy Batty, their charismatic leader, is determined to confront their creator and demand more life. Back in his apartment, Deckard reviews the files of his targets. He studies their photos, their profiles, and their backgrounds. He knows this hunt will not be easy.